How do we call that October meeting to order this time? Shall we stand for invocation and pledge allegiance, please?
Right. Good to see each and every one of y'all here tonight. Getting ready to say a prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for each and every one that's here tonight. Thank you for Buckingham County and for all us up here to try to help work on things in Buckingham County and make it work good and closer to you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Shall we pledge allegiance to the flag? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do have a quorum, and the first thing to be on the agenda, the approval of our work agenda for tonight.
I move it be approved.
I second.
Motion and second that our work agenda be approved. Are there any questions on the motion? All in favor? The approval of the minutes is next on the agenda.
So moved, Mr. Chairman. I'll second.
Motion and second that the minutes be approved. Are there any questions on the minutes? Not all in favor?
Mr. Davis.
You
Go
voted?
vote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There you go.
All right, the next, we got 7 yes. The next be the claims, approval of the claims.
So moved.
Motion and second that the claims be approved. Are there any questions? All in favor? Seven yes. The next agenda, announcements. Do we have any announcements? Here now we move on down to presentations. The Ms. Moss, the Mayor of Dearborn.
We appreciate you allowing us the time to come up today and talk about this. Dennis Carney is going to tell you the most of it, and so I'm going to turn that over to him.
Thank you all. The state has a program called Derelict Buildings, and it's got two components. One is safety. Are there commercial, or it could be residential too, but we're going to be gearing it towards commercial, where there's an unsafe situation. And if they're not safe, then we can take the next step of either there is a tax we can put on it, basically, a fee that can be placed on it. But in other words, that would not be from the county at all. But what we are requesting is for Mr. Ransom to come to the meeting, to come and do inspection. I would set up, I would be in touch with the owner of the building. He would not be doing that. I would be the one setting up the inspection between him and the person. And the building, then he makes his decision. And once that decision's made, then I then take it from there, or someone years from now, when I'm long gone, that would be doing that. But keeping in mind, right now, if, say, Ms. Moss, who lives in the town, were to get a shed, Tommy, our building inspector, would be making those inspections. So it's not that much, and we don't have that many that I see that we would be involved with.
One of the things that we're looking at is we have a lot of empty buildings in the town, and we want to develop an economic committee to try to help fill those buildings. But we need to know that they're safe. We don't have any one in mind. I think there's probably maybe 2 that we've looked at, and it's not gonna be a lot, is basically what I'm saying. But we need to do something to develop so that we can get some work into the town and some business.
And this is a weapon that we found, a way of getting people off of square one. Off of, oh, it's sitting there dormant. Well, you know, is it unsafe? And if it's unsafe, then we can do something about that part. And even if it's not unsafe, they may say to us, well, what do we do to get this thing filled? And we can take it from there.
We aren't the only town doing this. There's other towns. Dennis went to a meeting, that's where all of this came about from one of the meetings. And there are other towns that are struggling like we are, and they're trying to do this to see if it can help. So,
Clifton Forge is the big one, and I'm been taking some of their ideas and running with them, let's put it that way. So I'd be happy to answer any question anyone has on this.
So was I understanding you correctly, the building owner will be present when the inspection is done?
Yes, or, you know, their designee, whoever, unless they don't want us for some real weird reason, might not want, I want them there.
we would encourage that.
We would want them there because they need
They
to.
would be notified
Oh, yes.
ahead of time,
yeah.
and then.
I would be notifying them.
And that would all,
And-
yeah. that all
And Tommy's
comes-
role in this would be very low.
So if they deem the building unsafe, so what is the next step?
Our
You go-
our next step is something we are dealing with. If they're not willing to get the building permit, then there's a registry they're put on, there's a fee for that, and I believe y'all were given copies back in September on this, but the registry fee's $200, and after that, if they aren't taking the necessary steps to bring it in, it's $500 a month.
That's what
And
my-
we feel that these incentives are enough to get them to do it.
Next question was gonna be, so what kind of timeline are you allowing them to say that they'll make it right and take care of it?
Well, we would give them initially, and I'm just
We would.
thinking at this point, about 30 days to come
get a
up with-
bill-
30
not-
days to
not
correct it, or 30 days to start working
to
on
get
it?
a building
not
permit,
To get the building permit.
So that they can start working on it to get it
right,
corrected?
to correct the
Right.
problem.
So they're gonna be fined $500 a month until they
Not
get it
if they get
correct?
that building permit.
So in
and they
other words,
start-
the fine is if they don't apply for the permit.
Right.
That's correct,
I'm
That's
just trying to
right.
understand it. I'm not,
right,
Yeah,
Right.
that's correct.
right.
So, I guess I'm proud to represent the town of Dillon, and I do understand where you all are coming from. I think some of the boys' concerned, when we talked about it a couple of months ago, they were scared to go there without permission of the landlord and
Oh,
send
no,
somebody
we're
down
not
there or
going to do
whatnot.
that.
But I am under the aware that the people in Dillon pay the same county taxes as everybody else does. They pay actually town tax and county tax. So I do, in my opinion as a supervisor, feel the county is somewhat, if you all in the town of Dillon have to get a permit and pay the county a permit, if Mrs. Moss here, subject to say, was getting a building permit, then if we're not abiding by ordinance or compliance with a derelict building, I would think that it would be nothing wrong with if we use the county's time, no more than labor, and let you all as a town handle it after that he made that decision, and let you all as a town have it. I would considerably ask the board for the amount of labor to make not only the town better, but the county better, because if these people fix their buildings, they're able to rent it, the county would get county tax from it as well, correct?
And most importantly, we want to see these buildings filled
I understand.
and have it be a vibrant commercial.
So what you're asking for is nothing but the labor to have opinion on it from Mr. Ransom to see
Yeah,
what he thought.
because we don't have a building official.
Right. All of it, all the dealings with the people that own the buildings would come from us. And the only thing that we really need Mr. Ransom to do is, once he's available to set up that meeting, everybody sets it up, is to walk through the building and tell us what we need to know.
Is it unsafe?
Is the building safe, and should we, just kind of let this go and try to help them with it? Or, I mean, we're gonna try to help them regardless whether it is or it isn't.
Right, I understand that. Does anybody else on the board have any opinion or what they think about that part of it, or just give an opinion of nothing but the labor?
What's your please?
Then I'd like to make a motion to the Board of Supervisors tonight that at least we just ask Mr. Ransom to take a look at it, as long as Mr. Palmer's question is answered, that the landowner is notified, and try to make that where Mr. Ransom, and Mr. Carney, are you saying that's gonna be done?
Yes, yes, I would be the one to initiate it, contact the
And all he's
person.
doing is basically giving his opinion as a building inspector, correct?
Right, determining,
And it wouldn't just be it wouldn't just be him or I going out and looking. It would come to the town council for approval for us to
And just
move
to let you know, do
forward.
you have any idea how many, you said
Particular
not that many,
property.
5, 10, 15?
I would say we've got a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, but a few vacant buildings.
Yeah.
But
I actually
most
have
of
one
them
now. I
are
appreciate
not,
if you leave that one alone, okay?
but like you were saying, most of them are what I would consider to be safe.
Right, safe.
But there are some that this program would maybe get them off square one and
Okay,
get them.
But it's not a tremendous amount of labor involved. You say it's probably less than 5.
Yes, I would say yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll make that motion, okay.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
It's been motioned and second that we approve this. Is there any question on the motion? All in favor? Six. Okay.
Gentlemen,
Thank you.
we appreciate your time and your vote.
Thank you, sir. Let's move on to public comments. How many do we have, Jennifer?
We have 8.
Okay. Who was that first one?
Lori Colbert from District 1. Jenny Pickens will be next.
Afternoon.
Thank you for hearing me. I wrote a letter also. I inherited some property from my grandfather, and it's a house. I came up to the county because I couldn't get any return phone calls or emails back about dividing the land. I met with Miss Edmonston, and I went through the whole process. I changed the back property line as per talking to her, and sold it to one of the neighbors, and then I divided it into 3 lots, like I spoke with her about doing, and showed her the survey. When I got into it and I got the surveyor to divide it and soil scientist to approve everything into 3 lots so I could give them to my children, then I've mailed everything in, and she says, now it can't be done. I need a 50-foot right-of-way in there. I can't find it in any of the subdivision ordinance, and my attorney couldn't find it. So I'm here to find out more about it. It seems like, even though I've talked to, the surveyor told me that I needed to seek legal counsel. He does a lot of surveys in the county, and he's never had anything turned down like this. He said he would not have charged me the money to do the survey if it wouldn't have been approved. I'm just concerned, and there's nobody else to go to. Have you had a chance to look at the plat or the letters?
Let me, I read your letter. Let me get some understanding, but is your land landlocked?
No, sir.
So,
It's down a private drive. It's a private road. It's not state maintained. And it's already a 12-foot right-of-way that comes through there.
12-foot right away.
Yes, sir.
A 12-foot right away won't give you enough access to put 3 lots back there, will it, Ms. Everson?
No, that property has to come into compliance with the subdivision ordinance as discussed with Ms. Colbert in February, March, April, May, June, 4 times on July the 10th. July 9th. It requires a 50-foot deeded right-of-way and a road maintenance agreement in order for her to have her family division. Very similar to many divisions that have taken place where the owner of the land had to seek that 50-foot deeded right-of-way. If you have no road frontage and you do not have a 50-foot deeded right-of-way, a prescriptive easement is not what allows a further division to take place within our ordinance.
Thank you.
Look like Ms. Everson going by what the law say.
Well, it's not in any of the paperwork, and it's not in your subdivision ordinance, so I'm just trying to get a clear line if somebody could show
She
me.
just told you it was in the ordinance what you had to do.
And I have spoken with Mr. Brooks, the attorney, twice as well.
Well, it's in my district, and I know your grandfather very well. Eddie and I hunted a lot together. But I think what they did, I remember when him and Bob Bradley and Fred Ludeman bought that piece of land, and the house on it's pretty grandfathered, all of them. But now you got Mr. Larry Booker, Henry Wood, Frankie Lodge would have to give that easement, 3 different people. Get the 50-foot easement, and I don't know that they're willing to do that, so our hands are pretty tied. Ms.
Right.
Emerson went by what the rules
What
say,
the
and
rules say,
it
yeah.
is what it is.
But you can build a house back there though.
Okay,
Yeah, right, Ms. Everson?
Yeah, that was explained as well. This is over 7 acres. It has
Right.
an existing house which can be
Right.
used, and another house can be added. Anytime a parcel is 7 to 31.99 acres, 2 homes
Right.
can exist by right.
Put one on it, but you
Yes,
can't
you
put
put
2
one
more.
on it,
But
right.
she can add another one because there is a home on the parcel already.
okay. And there's no other way to divide it within the.
If you don't get
law?
those right-of-ways from those, individuals that own it, I don't think it,
So am I understanding it correctly, the problem is there's not enough road frontage to
Right.
subdivide it?
that's what
Easement
it said,
coming
not the
in.
easement.
The
going in.
easement coming in.
There's no
Oh,
road
an
frontage,
easement,
and there's only
no.
a 12-foot prescriptive easement, not a 50-foot deeded right-of-way.
That easement was given to keep it from being landlocked. That's,
If it was given, there's no proof that it was given. It was just a roadway that was used time period.
Right.
Yes.
I really see why Ms. Everson, went by the law. She didn't do anything wrong.
Okay, I was just asking because I didn't
Yes,
see it in
ma'am.
any of the paperwork. so
Okay,
I'm
all
just
right.
trying to find out more information
All
about
right.
it.
Well, thank you for
Okay.
coming.
No, the only other thing that concerns me is there a time limit when somebody from the county, if you have a question, where they can get back to you and not go on for months? Even the surveyor was concerned about, I've had to take days and come up here and the surveyor too, because we can't get responses back.
We've actually talked on the phone, and we've met in person probably 10 times, Ms. Colbert. I'm happy to meet with you again if you'd like to come back this week, and I'm happy to address any other concerns you may have and help you work towards resolution.
No, she actually has met with me, but I've had to come up here. I have once got a return phone call and hardly ever gotten a return email.
Many emails. In fact, you emailed me so many times. One day you were here, the same email came through 12 times,
It got
to which
hung
I
up.
responded. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Ms.
Jenny Pickens, District 6, and Ruth Aldridge will be next.
Evening, board members.
Evening.
I'm Jenny Pickens. I'm here tonight to address clear violations by a troubling pattern of non-enforcement by Buckingham County officials. For months, citizens have documented specific violations by Riverstone Solar of the special use permit you approved in 2022. We've provided photographic evidence, written documentation, and failed to enforce. So let me be specific about what we've documented. Required wash stations at project leading to dirt tracked on county roads. Condition 21B explicitly requires, and I quote, "Each project entrance will have a dedicated wash station to mitigate natural debris from February 2022 public hearing stated this was direct feedback from Campbell County that health required protections are missing. Stream and wetland buffers mandated to protect water quality near the James River have been destroyed. Condition 13 requires preservation of at least a 50-foot buffer of existing vegetation and timber along stream lands. At that same 2022 Riverstone hearing, Riverstone promised to maintain these filters for water quality, directly comparing them to the Chesapeake Bay. Next, property line buffers of mature timber were cleared, violating SUP conditions, directly affecting neighboring like me and my neighbors. Construction vehicles continue on the road, creating safety hazards for residents despite condition 28. September 29th meeting, County Administrator Carter delivered a detailed report that omitted several of these violations despite having received documentation. And then you, this board, asked no questions and took no action. Enforcement failures impact our entire community. Public safety is threatened. Water quality protections for the James River are being destroyed. Neighboring property owners have lost the protections they were promised. Trust in the county's ability to. Tonight, we're calling for you to issue a stop work order immediately. For conditions 3, 21B, and 28.
Thank you.
Ruth Aldridge, District 6, and Brad Pickens will be next.
Make sure the mic's working properly. Good evening. I'm taking this time today to make public comment in reference to environmental violations, broken promises to protect the James River, here and beyond with current Riverstone solar project. Again, as I've spoken before, I want to address environmental violations that threaten water quality locally and downstream communities. This 2,000-acre project is located less than a quarter mile from the James River. The streams and wetlands on the site flow directly into the river. The proximity makes the destruction of required environmental buffers particularly serious, not just for Buckingham County, but for all downstream communities. At the February 28, 22 public hearing, Riverstone made explicit environmental commitments. Their representative, Jimmy Merrick, stated in this official minutes they would maintain a minimum of a 50-foot setback from solar equipment to edge all of the perennial streams and connected wetlands, just to create more of a vegetated filter, to help manage and scrub the water quality. He directly compared this to the Chesapeake Bay Act requirements, explaining the coastal communities implement buffered regulations, primarily for stormwater creates more of a vegetation buffer between the Chesapeake Bay and where you see development. He told you they were including that same protection here as an additional erosion and sediment control and stormwater management precaution. These weren't casual remarks. They were formal environmental commitments presented in minutes before this board voted to approve Riverstone's SUP, special use permit. The board and our community relied on these specific assurances. This distinction is critical. Condition 12 establishes a 50-foot setback and allows certain infrastructure, but condition 13 separately, explicitly requires preservation of at least 50-foot buffer existing vegetation and timber with that setback. The word shall creates a mandatory obligation. There is no discretion to remove those buffers or anything in those buffers. Once these mature buffers are destroyed, they cannot be restored. These trees, root systems, and natural soil profiles filter runoff and protect water quality, represents decades of growth. Construction activities, bulldozing, cut and fill, earth removing, destroy the natural and permanently eliminate the buffer, better function. Now Riverstone is destroying the promised buffers. County Administrator Carter's report acknowledged storm water controls and the setbacks, but ignored the separate requirement in condition 13 to preserve vegetated buffers. This isn't just a local issue. These streams flow into the James River. Downstream communities depend on upstream counties to protect water quality every day, and delay enforcement allows damage. Please, as your representatives to the citizens of this community, do something. Make them stop this to protect the water for not just us, but everyone beyond. Thank you.
Brad Pickens, District 6, and Kenda Honneman will be next.
Me again. I'd also like you to reconsider the inaction on Riverstone's public safety violations. The prohibited road usage, the construction traffic repeatedly used the roads explicitly prohibited under condition 28, and when County Administrator Carter said, I quote, "This issue may arise as some construction workers are not local and are following their GPS." Condition 28 doesn't have a local knowledge exception. If Apex can't control his contractors to keep them on authorized routes, that's exactly why the violation matters. It shows they're not managing them. At the 22 hearing, Jimmy Merrick committed a traffic management plan with temporary traffic control measures just to make sure that the adjoining roads maintain safety. The solution isn't to excuse the violations, it's to enforce the controls this board required. And after the last supplemental board meeting, the very next morning, a 60,000-pound triple axle tractor trailer went over the 12-ton bridge on its way to Riverstone. My own eyes. The missing wash stations, I did tour the site prior to the town hall, and even they acknowledge there are no wash stations. They have tire shakers on the Bridgeport. They don't have any tire shakers on the Paynes Pond entrances, and no wash stations. That's condition 21B, should have been there 6 months ago. Not waiting for vertical construction when they start tearing up the ground. At the recent town hall, Jimmy Merrick said to expect delays because wells needed to be drilled, and that's another broken promise. Since 22, they promised no wells would be drilled because of the fragile water table out in that area. County Supervisor Dale Moore warned the board at 22 as well about their track record. He was right. The problems he cautioned about, road debris, poor oversight, and broken promises are happening here now. And this is just a scratch the surface start of this project. And with regards to the property line buffer removal along my property, mature timber buffers they promised for screening were removed. Administrator Carter's report dismissed this because the landowner did it and it wasn't orchestrated by Apex. But the SUP was approved in February of 22. The land's legal use changed. All activities on the property permitted for solar development must comply with those permit conditions. Timbering exemptions no longer applied. Any tree removal after permit violates condition 13 regardless of who operated that equipment. And again, they promised to preserve the existing vegetation and they want to replace it now with little stick saplings. But let's look at the pattern and please reconsider. Buffer clearings excused, wash stations ignored, road violations excused, and every violation gets an excuse instead of enforcement. Please hold them to their promises. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next.
Kenda Honneman, District 5. Donnie Dwyer will be next.
Good evening. Kenda Honneman, District 5. I bet you can't guess what I'm here to talk to you about. Tonight you've heard specific violations, but I want to emphasize the broader community impacts of non-enforcement. You've heard about the downstream communities depending on Buckingham County to protect the James River water quality. When buffers designed as vegetative filters are destroyed less than a quarter mile from the river, the impacts extend far beyond our county borders. Neighboring property owners lost mature buffers, as you've heard from Pickens. They relied on when you approved this project. At the 2022 hearing, Riverstone promised to maintain property line buffers and supplement where needed. Those protections were removed, directly affecting property values and quality of life for your constituents. Public safety is compromised when required wash stations are missing and prohibited roads are used by construction traffic. Big truck on a little bridge is just a recipe for disaster. These aren't minor inconveniences, they're hazards created by non-enforcement. Systematic future violations are guaranteed by currently approved plans, with more than 90% of the construction still ahead and plans that violate buffer requirements throughout the site. The scale of future damage will be massive unless you act now. Trust in governance is lost when conditions can be violated without consequence. At the 2022 hearing, Riverstone made explicit promises: vegetated filters for water quality, wash stations at every entrance, traffic management, buffer preservation. The board and community relied on those promises when approving the SUP. If developers can make formal commitments to secure approval and then violate those conditions during construction, if county staff can omit documented violations from official reports, if the board can remain silent when violations are proven, what is the value of an SUP condition? This is about enforcing the conditions that made it acceptable. Issue a stop work order until compliance is achieved. Issue notices of violation. Require corrected plans. Install wash stations. Enforce road restrictions. Your regulatory credibility, public safety, environmental protection, and community trust all depend on enforcement action tonight. We've provided documentation. We've attended meetings for months. Please, will you act now? Thank you.
Donnie Doyer, District 6, and David Ball will be next.
Good evening, Donnie Doyer, District 6. Sometimes when you cannot get an answer or from a question, multiple attempts have been made, you have to draw your own conclusion of what think's going on. Back in February of 24, Jimmy Merrick sent a letter to the board asking for extension of Apex Riverstone SUP. That was placed on the agenda, but then later on pulled off. An hour and 36 minutes before the meeting, a lawyer from Apex sent Mr. Wright an email with a Virginia code that he said needed no action by the board. He also said in that email that the code he stated was not specific to solar. Therefore, the board didn't have to take an action. Why wasn't the request from Mr. Merrick answered? And why did a lawyer send an email to Mr. Wright if you could have made that request anyway? I spoke that night on the matter and said that something had a smell to this thing. If y'all remember that, I told you that. Later, after research by a group of people, we found out that the code stated was incorrect and should have been a Virginia code called 15.2-2209.1:2. That code was the correct code, and it specifically stated it was for solar. And it gave the board the right to extend it by resolution. In January of 24, the board approved 2 solar SUPs. One was SUP 285, one was SUP 286. Both of those were solar extension requests, and y'all made them in January. No questions asked. In December of 24, another Apex representative asked for an extension for Rosner Creek. And that was brought up, and in that letter, they sent you in that package, in that letter, 3 times they said that they used that code that I was talking about, which ended in :2, 3 different times, and y'all voted on that 7-0 and passed it, which was completely correct. The question is then, why didn't you agree to the extension on Riverstone? The answer can only be because you did not have the votes to extend it. Why didn't you use the correct Virginia code? And the answer to that is because if you did that, that allowed the board to make that decision and to extend it, and you didn't have the votes to do it. So I can only now assume someone wanted the SUP to be extended. And they contacted Apex Riverstone for advice. They in turn gave the Virginia code that was talking about extending certain things, but not solar, and I only could guess that they thought the taxpayers of this county wouldn't catch on to it. I've asked the board and the county attorney to explain the Virginia Code in and then colon 2, and no one will ever give me an answer. The question is why. I'm asking each of you to please explain that colon 2. And if the board cannot tell me, then please ask Mr. Wright to bring that up in the meeting tonight. We have put our trust in you. Do what's right. You owe it to the people you represent, and maybe more importantly, you owe it to yourselves. Thank you.
David Ball, District 2. Jenny Slade will be next.
Good evening, David Ball, District 2. How are you this evening? I'm here to address what's going on in the town of Dillwyn. Part of that display that was brought on about trying to go after the property owners, when a property owner doesn't respond and won't acknowledge them, they don't know what to do. They just keep repeating letters and letters or doing whatever. And I told them, I said, if you got somebody that's not paying their taxes, so give it to the sheriff's office and have it served. That's a legal process. But no, they keep trying to go to send it in mail, and the mail comes back. They try and knock on the door, and nobody answers. It's a futile process. And I can tell you the one owner that they're focused on is the old Ranson store. You know, where Ranson was the mayor of Dillwyn for decades. I think decades. He was there a long time. And after he passed, that building just sat and wasted. But I've been here in the county 23 years. I can tell you there are structures like in front of Foster's tire shop that have sat there, 2-story frame structure that sat there for 23 years in the same condition it was when I came to Buckingham County. So if buildings haven't changed in 23 years, how are they going to do anything? And if you give them permission to go after stuff, what happens if your parents, which I was sad to see they closed down their car dealership, what if their car dealership sits for 2 years or longer and nobody's there taking care of it because it's just sitting empty, and like all empty buildings, they begin to wane. Even the grocery store that's in the marketplace there, they barely are existing. They've closed down their other locations. So if all these properties have been sitting like that for years and nobody responds to them and nobody's able to do anything because they don't have money, maybe they spent too much for the properties when they bought them, it becomes a futile process. And it's like, you know, what are you going to do? Nothing's going to change until there's a motivation to get building in the community. And there is no motivation. I got the contractor who was doing the road work was just going to leave piles of rock that was left from the broken up concrete. And I talked to him about the VDOT standards and everything because I used to be a VDOT inspector. And now they're actually doing what's necessary to correct the problems. But I was hoping that the VDOT guy was going to be here and talk to him about other problems.
Jenny Slade from Delegate Garrett's office.
Good evening. My name is Jenny. I work for Delegate Garrett. He's sorry he couldn't be here tonight, but encourages you to reach out if you have any issues, have questions, or just want to chat. His phone is always on. We are working on our legislative agenda, and we want to hear from Buckingham. What issues are you having that we can help fix legislatively? What at the state level is getting in your way of being the awesome county that you are? Last year, we heard from a lot of Buckingham constituents about local land use decisions staying with the locality. Delegate Garrett is very strongly in favor of that and carried legislation last year, HB 2068, that would mandate just that local land use decisions are solely with the locality. That legislation did fail, but he will try again in the 2026 session and hopefully be successful on that front. we're here to help with all levels of state issues, and that also extends to constituents. So if you have any constituents that are really struggling with state agencies, feel free to reach out. I absolutely love going and getting these state agencies to serve our people. So I'm happy to help anytime. Our phone is always on. Call, reach out anytime you need, and we're here to help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did the board have a, hold on just a minute, young lady. Anybody have a question for her? Well, we thank you for coming and sharing with us. All right, thank you. That's all? All right.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
if I could
sir.
say something real quick.
Yes, sir.
I pulled this up, the conditions on Riverstone, and it says there shall be a wash station at each entrance construction. Not there may be, not there won't be, and to me, they need to get some water tanks and stuff right there and have what's in the agreement before they go on the roads. I know all of y'all looked at the pictures of the mud and stuff just getting tracked out in the road and the road dirty. Mr. Pickens called me the other day telling me about the truck going across the bridge. That's a 12-ton bridge. 60-ton truck. So they need to get some signage up or something that they don't go down that road.
I went
I
there.
know we got good reports from Hurt and Profit, but this right here to me is not obligating what they said they were gonna do. It says during construction, each project entrance will have a wash station. It's plain language. So, Mr. Carter, I suggest that you make a phone call with them tomorrow and tell them that these need to be installed now. They ain't got to drill wells. They rent water trucks every day and water tanks that you can store water in. Rinse these trucks off before they come out in the road.
I thought we discussed last meeting about, well, maybe not the last one, I wasn't at the last one live, but the last meeting that I attended, didn't we discuss the fact that they was gonna make them put signage up and keep them from crossing that bridge?
So when I went to the site, there are signs up on the road.
And there's signs up there to tell
Yes,
the
sir.
trucks that the bridge is only
It
12
says no
tons.
construction traffic on both ends of the road.
Maybe we need to try to see if we can get somebody with the sheriff's department or the state police to try to enforce that.
I talked to, I called his name, Mr. Davis. Chris Davis sat down there for 2 days trying to catch him, but he didn't catch nobody. But I'm sure they crossed the bridge. You got eyewitnesses see him crossing it.
Right.
But the time he was down there, didn't nobody come through there. It came from a reliable source that, big trucks was crossing the bridge.
As bad as it is, I can understand that if they couldn't catch one truck crossing the bridge,
Right.
that'd be no different than a violation
Right.
of anybody's countywide. But what Mr. Davis just read, if that's true, and he just read it saying it was a wash station, and if they don't have a wash station, they in a violation. And
Right.
if Mr. Davis reads that correctly, which is pretty much verbatim like that, and it's not a wash station where it says is that, we gotta take care of that. We can't
Right.
not answer back and say that everything is okay. If it's not there, they gotta comply to what they said they do, and let's hold their feet to the fire about doing that.
And I think we need to let Hurt and Profit know that there's supposed to be wash stations at every one of them entrances, so they're checking them when they go to do the site visit. It's part of the deal. Let's just honor
That's it.
And if we pay somebody to do the investigation and look at it, I suggest they follow the rules and make sure that they go down the line and check box by box of the complaints.
I think that's all the community asking for, is stick to the rules, what they said they could do.
That's just my thoughts, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I agree.
I do too.
Let's move on. Mr. Frederick is not here tonight. Did Scott call in?
He emailed and said he couldn't be here tonight, but for me to send him an email with any concerns y'all have.
Any board member have a concern in that district?
From District Two, I'm sorry, I didn't mean
No,
to
that's
speak over
all right.
to you, Paul.
We started.
From District Two, if you just mentioned Mr. Frederick by the next meeting, if he could see about a study that we had on Bell Road about the number of traffic and the speed limit and that kind of thing. I had a couple constituents check. He actually opened a study for it about 2 months ago, and just to see what the process of that study, it may take longer than that, and if that's the case, that's understandable. Okay?
Another board member?
Yes, I had one concern that was brought to me, and it's pretty good one as far as safety is concerned. It's high school road that goes from the middle school all the way straight through, and then comes out on 60 on the other end by Ms. Bland's place and Jack Moss's old place. I don't know who, I can't call the name of the people that live there now, but anyway, all the way there from middle school on down, the bushes on the side or trees on the side have overgrown, and a couple of places you can't see one of the signs that says school or school zone or whatever. I didn't get a chance to go see it, but I called Ronnie Palmer tonight. He was the one that brought it to my attention, and I asked him again to explain it, and he said basically from the middle school all the way down to come out 60 on the other end. You know, it's some places where it's not no trees or anything there, but the places where there are trees, they kind of, and he said he even brushing up against the school buses in a couple places. So that's the one he had, and that's the only concern I had from District 4.
Mainly on the westbound side. The other, when you're headed east, it's not a problem, but the westbound side, the trees are bad, and you meet a car, and you have to get over with a bus.
The only side, like where, not across from the bus garage, the other
If
side.
you come off 60 and go past the middle school, that whole right-hand side all the way until you get up to the other
Okay.
end of the road where it comes back out on 60, the limbs.
All right, I thought he meant it was just on that, mainly on that side of the road.
Yeah, the other
So,
side,
yeah.
the other side where the ball fields and stuff
Right.
like that, that's not a
So
problem.
westbound, where Nazarene Camp and all that
Yeah.
stuff. All right, thank you for clearing that up, Mr. Palmer.
Another board member? Jennifer, in District 6, at the trash dump over there, the road is, where the big trucks are coming down the road, I don't know whether they are trucks or not, then the road is cracked up and then went down, they need 655, the recycling center. Where you come out the recycling center at? Thank you. Ms. Everson, you have it? All right, no zoning matters. The next we have a school superintendent.
Oops. Good evening.
Good evening.
This evening, we are requesting the approval of a 2025-2026 budget update. As you may know, the state distributed funds to the school systems in June for the sole purpose of a bonus for SOQ, or Standards of Quality, position employees. The state gave divisions the discretion to decide when to give the bonus and how much to give. Divisions had to certify with the Department of Education by stating the date that these funds would be distributed. Buckingham County Public Schools decided on a December 2025 distribution to help offset the long time between paychecks from December to January due to winter break. As with all bonuses and raises in the past, Buckingham County Public Schools wanted to give the bonus to all employees, not just Standards of Quality or SOQ funded employees. The purpose of this update and request is to receive a reappropriation of $217,261 from the county of state bonus funds given to school divisions in June, and that was then in our balance at the end of the 2024-2025 school year. Counties were required to reappropriate these state funds for that purpose only, per the Department of Education. The local balance of the last two completed audits were for the 2022-2023 school year, which was $235,845, and the 2023-2024 balance was $74,092 for a 2-year local year-end balance of $309,937. We are also requesting an additional $136,369 of this balance from the county to add to the state portion, which is, as I stated earlier, $217,261, for a total reappropriation to our budget for $353,630. Once again, $235,845 of state money and $136,369 of local year-end balance. This is not any new revenue that we are seeking. These transfers will increase the regular operating fund with one-time revenue of $336,944 and the cafeteria fund of $16,686 for a total budget adjustment of $353,630. If approved, this will provide approximately 350 full-time contracted employees with a $1,000 bonus and 55 full-time hourly employees with a $500 bonus. The board would distribute these funds to the school division in December 2025 as certified with Department of Education.
Do any board member have a question for the superintendent?
So I'm hearing you right, that the teachers' aides and all are gonna get a $500 bonus.
No, hourly employees would get $500. Those would be the hourly special education paraprofessionals and the hourly car drivers. They work on not a full-time contracted basis, but they're in our schools every day working with our students.
Not anybody gonna get it.
What about the teachers' aides? They don't get nothing?
No, yes, they do. I'm sorry. The paraprofessionals and other support staff that are full-time contracted would receive $1,000. Everyone else that's there every day working on a part-time, non-contracted basis would receive $500.
I got you.
Okay. A lot of numbers, a lot of information there.
Part of that money, correct me if I'm wrong, but part of that money, the 119 and then the other 16,000 or whatever it was, the money from the county side, that money was already appropriated
That's correct, and we turned it back into you.
back in, so it's not new money coming out of taxpayers' pockets.
That is correct.
I want to clarify that because sometimes people misunderstand
Right.
what it is that you're asking. You're asking for money that has already been
Right.
appropriated.
And so we are required legally to return any unexpended funds back to you at the end of the fiscal year, and that money has accumulated in a reserve fund over the last, and we have the last two audits, I gave you that amount, and we have another audit coming this fall.
So basically, Mr. Carter, what the superintendent is saying is all we're doing is returning money they didn't spend that we appropriate for them and basically give them money back that they didn't spend when they turn it back in. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right. We need a motion to approve this, then I got no
I'll
problem.
make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Mike.
Thank you.
Been motion and second that we
Hold on,
approve.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, before we vote, I need to read a statement. I'm advising that I am a bus driver for the Buckingham County School System. I intend to participate in the discussions and vote on the budget amendment matter. The Code of Virginia requires that I make a statement concerning my situation. According, I make the following statement for the record. I will participate in the discussion and vote on matters relating to the amendment and reallocation to the Buckingham County School Board. I am a bus driver employed by the Buckingham County School Board, which is funded in part by allocations from the Buckingham County Board of Supervisors. I am a member of a group which are affected by the transaction. I am able to participate in the transaction fairly, objectively, and in the public interest, and I do not set the budget or authorize the expenditures of Buckingham County School Board.
All right, thank you. It's been motion and second, and we approve this. Are there any questions? All in favor? 7 yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on down to the next is Economic Development Committee. Ms. Carter, you want?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Due to some further discussions about the committee, I'm requesting we table this to next month till the committee can get back together again and come with some more firm details on what was decided on.
And this is consensus of the board, we're gonna table this next
I'd
month.
like to make that motion.
All right. Motion and second that we will table this to next month. Are there any questions? All in favor? All right, thank you. Mr. Carter?
Chairman, also, I'm asking you tonight to appropriate $1,000. We received a donation from a citizen that wanted me anonymous. She wanted that money to go to the Animal Control Department for spay and neuter program. So I'm just asking you tonight to appropriate that $1,000 so it can be spent on those purposes.
All right, you heard the request of the county administrator?
I'll second it.
There been motion and second, and we honor this request. Are there any questions? All in favor?
It didn't take your vote.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Carter?
Yes, sir. The second thing on my report tonight is remind you that due to the VACO conference in November and the Veterans holiday, that our meeting will be on the 17th, which is going to be the third Monday instead of the second Monday. Also, in your packet tonight, there's a report from the Auditor of Public Accounts that came and did an audit for our constitutional officers, which included the Commissioner of Revenue, the Sheriff's Office, and the Treasurer's Office. And then you see in your packet, they passed that audit with flying colors, so we'd like to congratulate them on doing what they're supposed to and getting everything to the state so that they could pass that audit. On a similar note, you can see also in your packet, there's a letter from Art Robinson, Palmer, and Cox that they came and audited our BRS system to make sure that what we report to BRS is current and accurate. I would like to thank Ms. Donna Ranson and Wendy Oliver, School Board Office, for getting those reports in to the auditors, and congratulate them once again on making sure we're doing everything right we're supposed to with the state. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Other board matters.
Mr. Chairman, I had one thing. Sheriff Kidd, I'd like to commend you and your Sheriff's Department and the Virginia State Police. Last Friday, we had a serious incident in my district in the community. The Christian school in Dillon had a bomb threat. And the Sheriff's Department responded as quickly as anybody could, and so did the Virginia State Police. And I understand it's under investigation. This kind of act of violence and threats have no place in society, whether it be our county school system, our Christian school system, any church or any other function. And Sheriff Kidd, I want to thank you for the fast response that you gave to the Christian school and getting it safe and around the town of Dillon. And I hope you quickly apprehend whoever did this. And as far as I'm concerned, I hope they suffer the most severe consequence they possibly can under the court of law.
We need to go into executive session.
We do?
Yes, sir.
All right. As soon as I find that paper, I will read it.
Can I raise a question before we get to that? So what do we decide to do about the Riverstone thing? Are we gonna contact them and tell them they need to put these wash stations in? Now, we're gonna give them a time restraint on when it needs to be done. If not, have them know that if they don't comply, we're gonna pull their permit. Is that where we're going with that?
Well, I think what I got from you guys, you wanted me to contact them tomorrow morning and say, and inquire about these wash stations
Right.
and make sure that
Somebody needs to enforce the fact that bridge is only 12 tons. And they need to notify the contractors that are bringing materials in that bridge is not to be used by those big trucks.
Go into that road.
The road
Right.
is what we use.
But I mean, if they have to put somebody out there and stop them when they turn into it, because what's gonna happen is one of those trucks gonna come in and they may have an overload permit. You don't know for sure. They go over that 12-ton bridge and then you're gonna have a catastrophic failure of the bridge. So I feel like we need to make them step up to the plate and try to do what's right by this permit. And if they don't, by the next time we meet, then have them know that they'll possibly have their permit pulled.
Yeah, we'll be out
Thing
there.
is, I say give them 7 working days to install them. It's not no great big deal.
Right.
Right.
What I'm saying is, so when we come back and meet next time, If they haven't complied, then have them know that if they haven't complied and satisfied us, then we have no option but to pull the permit until they do get it straight.
We'll make sure somebody's out there tomorrow, and I will be talking to Jimmy Murray myself.
You know, I don't know how those things like that work, but if they have, you know, it's other entrances other than Paynes Pond Road, right?
652, that's what it's supposed to be coming out.
Right. Well, you know, I mean, at least case scenario, if they don't have a wash station there, then shut that entrance down.
It's supposed to be at every entrance.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, still, until they comply, we should at least be able to shut that entrance down. And then if they get to wash station, they can open that entrance back up. They can still do their business from the other ways. I mean, that's,
So what is the signage, how does the signage read?
Compromise.
Does it say?
No construction traffic.
No construction traffic.
That's what it said,
So-
Mr. Pickett?
So it's not
No construction.
designating, no tractor trailers, it's just saying no construction traffic.
It's a big orange diamond signs you see on the side of the main highways.
We need to tell them that we can't send law enforcement down and have them sit for a week at a time trying to catch people violating that. So they need to put somebody in charge of making sure that the construction traffic uses the proper road. Or otherwise, we'll have no other choice but to pull the permit.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Ms. Gary.
all right. Executive session. Discussion or consideration of the acquisition of real property for a public purpose or for the disposition of publicly held real property where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body. And that's State of Virginia Code 2.1-3711.A.3. And I move we go in closed session under those conditions.
The motion is second, and we'll go into closed session under the condition that was stated. Are there any questions? All in favor?
to, move that we go back, out of executive session. Discussion under the following pretenses: discussion of the award of a public contract involving the expenditure of public funds, including interviews of bidders or offers, or discussion of terms or scope of such contract, where discussion in an open session would have adversely affected the bargaining position or negotiating strategy. We now return to regular session and certification that, to the best of our knowledge, each member, only business matters related to the codes of which the executive meeting was convened was discussed or considered in the closed executive session.
We get a second, the motion is second.
Second.
We return to regular session under the code that was stated. All in favor? And at this time, nothing else to be brought before the board, we'll adjourn the meeting. I'm sorry?
I got something, Mr.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
I would like to do a resolution for Junior Worm, all the, what he done for the youth league and the high school football and youth football, and I would like to do a resolution for him to his family.
All right. Can you get obituary for Jennifer? I can get it off. You can get it offline? Okay, thank you. There's been motion and second, and we'll pass a resolution for Mr. Worm, Junior Worm.
Wait a minute, let her change it. She ain't got a chance. Now you can go here.
Motion and second, and we pass a resolution for Mr. Worm, Junior Worm. Are there any questions on the motion? All in favor? Saying yes. All right, anything else need to brought before the board? No, we adjourn the meeting.
Now we're shut down. I said, now